rain. Just the type of weather you ordered for Memorial Day weekend, right? Yeah, I didn't think so either. But gives us some time to get out here and work on the Mercedes. As you saw a couple posts back, we were working on the Rambler, repairing some leaking axle seals from the Ocean City trip. That's all back together and ready to go cruising again when the weather cooperates. But in the meantime, like I said, we're back to working on the Mercedes. And as I also had mentioned in the previous post, we have the brackets welded in for the steering rack, and the steering rack is loosely bolted in there. As you can see, we're going to, once the engine's in, slip the exhaust down around the back side there, which this big hole was filled with the steering box, the whole reason for doing the steering rack swap. Bunch of posts back, I said we are going with C5 engine mounts. But what we're doing here is the original Mercedes cross member still in place. This side still is whole and needs cut out. But you can see I notched out this side for a 3-inch pipe. We're going to do a pedestal style mount. So obviously this will bolt to the engine, and then I will cap this off with a threaded nut inside, and ultimately we'll sit on top of that pedestal and the engine. And then after that, what we have left is to make a transmission mount, which I don't know, you can see the bracing I did on the floors after I widened them with some 1-inch square tube. So that should be pretty simple to make a mount. Back there, it's all but straight across. And then we will go through more cleaning up of wires. Eventually, I will be welding all these unnecessary holes shut and getting rid of this ABS bracket, cleaning that up. We do have little repair patches to make down in there. Typical rot spot on these cars. And then it's just going to be some more mock-up. Decide if we're going to keep the AC and leave the condenser here, figure out what radiator we want to use, and go from there. So stay tuned, we're back on the Mercedes. Well guys, another bottle kicked. But before I kicked it, we were able to finish welding in the LS mounts. And like I said, the steering rack mounts are already welded in. And I had started shaving holes on this frame rail, which you can see I still have to do these. I don't know why there were so many holes in this OEM frame rail. But we're gonna get all these filled in, cleaned up. Get this engine bay looking nice. But now that everything is welded in and I have a trans cross member made, I am back to sorting through wires and plumbing, getting rid of where the old ECU ABS control module was, and then we'll come over here, try and get the fuse box, brake booster, all that area cleaned up, and we'll get the engine and trans back in here once again. Feels like the 100th time. And then we'll get a condenser radiator mocked up. Maybe even order some headers, that way I can start getting exhaust routing mocked up. Do a bunch of mock-up, and then I'll pull everything back out, and I'm gonna get this engine bay cleaned up. I don't know how much shaving I'm gonna do, but stay tuned and find out. Just like me, we'll find out along the way together. Progress though.